Hi, strawberry shortcake here, and I thought I'd wear my little dress again, because you're right, this is more me. This is like what I like to be like, so I hope that you like it today. And I decided I'm going to talk about something I haven't talked a lot about in a while. And in fact, I don't even have a lot on him in this channel, because, it's time. I know that some people already know about My Stalker, but some of you don't. And I guess I'll just tell you, a little about everything about us, without using his name. I'm gonna call him Leonardo DiCaprio, because you know why? Because I just am. Because I don't know, it's nice to think of that way. Not really, but But anyways, which, yes, I don't know if Ricky, you're on this video, but I want you to know that yes, I think you're sexier than Leonardo DiCaprio. Just between us. But yeah, I don't know why I felt like talking about him, because I kind of been busy with my life and trying to get my things in order and where I want to be in life. And ever since I started, I noticed that he's a little more persistent to be in my life. Well, it really started a couple years ago, but I think the really stalking started back even before that. But I don't know when exactly, so I'm not going to say. But yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio went to high school with me. I don't know, just saying that sorry, that just sounds kind of weird, but there is not really Leonardo DiCaprio. You all know that, but I can, in my mind, imagine. But, he went to high school with me, and that's where we met. And that's where I got really close to him, and I didn't really think he cared. I'm going to try to make this not horribly long, but, it is a long story. But I guess I should explain why we got close. All of you by now know pretty much about a lot of my life. I'm an open book, if you didn't notice. I like to share of myself. I always have, since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. Yeah, since I was like a little kid. I always was that type of kid that I made friends quick. I always was the more outgoing one. I would basically go to camp and have a billion friends afterwards, I was that type of kid that came up to people and made them feel comfortable enough to talk to me. So yeah, I was that kind. And so I made friends really easily, and sometimes it was good and sometimes not so good. Sometimes people would like me and they wouldn't let me know. And I'm not, back then I didn't know about the games men and women play. I didn't do that. So I didn't think about the fact that people could say they don't like you or don't, just like you as a friend and still like you as more. Nowadays, you can look on YouTube and say, it has secret ways your crush might like you or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But back then, we didn't have YouTube. We had our own mentality and books. And that was pretty much our, way to understand things. So I would have surfed the web and found all the information and facts. That's how I was. Even back then, I would research things. I love looking things up. I'm just that type of girl. But yeah, he would write me every day. Well, okay, we worked up to that point. Okay, so in the beginning, we didn't write each other at all. In fact, the very first year I went to my school, he went, I saw him one time and then he was gone. And the whole year he was gone. And I was like, okay. I thought there was two Leonardo DiCaprios because they're both the same name. There was two of the same kid in my, well, they weren't the same kid. Two got kids with the same name in my grade. So I went with this other one. I mean, I don't know why, like, I don't even know how it happened, because, but we both played the saxophone. So that kind of linked us, you know, and it made me feel, you know, I always was that type of girl where wherever I was, I had to have a crush. I had to have a crush on somebody. So, like, even if it's just in my own head, so I could fantasize and daydream. And I would do that every afternoon. So I was pretty bad about doing that. I would write in my diaries about this person or that person, or if I had dreams or whatever. It was like this thing I did with myself. And I could make my fantasies so real and so, like, amazing that it seemed like it's going to be amazing, but it might not be. But yeah, I basically had a little unspoken relationship with the other one for a year. And we basically did study hall together. We, you know, it was like weird because you know how some people get when you don't really name it anything, but you hang out a lot and you're always wanting to be around each other, but you don't want to admit it. Somehow I get guys that do that a lot in my life, and they'll be there and they'll act like they're these great guys, right? But they won't say they have feelings for you. Or even worse, they do, and then they hide you from their friends. I've had that too. Freaking asshole. His first letter of his name is J. He's an asshole. But yeah, he went to my college with me. But yeah, I've had a lot of different odd experiences with guys, and some good, some bad. You all know about the bad ones. I've talked about them, like, extensively on this channel even. But so yeah, I know how guys can be, and I know how tricky they can be too, because they lead you on and they make you think they like you when really they just want to get in your pants. I'm that type of girl, I think. But you know, it's kind of cool that I ended up settling down even. But there was this other kid though, off topic. He actually proposed to me after knowing me for 1 month. That was like a no-brainer. I was not going to marry somebody after knowing them for a month because I didn't even like the guy. I was nice to him though, but I didn't really like him like that. Like, you can tell if you're gonna want somebody, but no, he was weird. But Isaac knew him too, and for once I actually was like, thank God I can get out of this, because some other guy was there and he was threatened by Isaac, and he still was always there though. I was like, oh my gosh, because I thought I was never gonna get this guy away from me. Like, he literally made me take the ring. I was like, I don't think I'm ready for marriage, and he made me take it and hold on to the ring. And I was like, oh great, he bought this ring and now he's giving it to me and forced it in my hand to make me take it. And I gave it back eventually. But it was like really weird. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like some guy actually I'm technically engaged right now. So I guess I was for a minute, and then I just gave it back to him. I was gonna marry someone I didn't love, you know. I believe that about what Marilyn said. Only if I'm in love with the guy. But I'm back on, sorry, I gotta get off topic sometimes. And Isaac's in one of his moods again, so pardon the cursing over there in French words. But, yeah, he would, like, okay, the second year I came back, and the other one wasn't gone, but he was back. So I was like, okay, they switched. They switched places because I actually had gotten close to that other one, so I was kind of sad. He actually wanted me to go to the public school because the school I went to is private Christian, and he wanted me to come be with him, and my parents wouldn't let me. So I think he got mad at me, but it wasn't my fault. My parents wouldn't let me go. They made me go to this private Christian school, and I begged them to let me go. Because I was like, no, Mom, I really don't want to stay here. Because, I wasn't really getting, really great with the people. I was okay. But, I had some people that I knew from my work eventually. I think that was in 11th grade. Yeah. 11th grade, I started working at Wendy's. And some of the people there were cool. They weren't all weirdo guys. There were some females there, too. And I actually made friends with some of them. So I was like, at least I have some people. And then I made some friends at Meyer. So yeah, they're females again. Okay, and I'm not that way. But I don't know. Somehow the guys only want that one thing. They don't just want to be my friend. So if you know what I mean. So yeah. But basically I ended up being with him. And we got close all through high school, the next couple of years. And he would never mention me, to his friends that I know of. Well, obviously, I do realize some of them did know because they would make fun of him about being around me. Back then, I just thought, it was just kind of weird, and I thought that he was embarrassed about me. I didn't realize he was more probably embarrassed that they were making fun of him about a crush he had. I didn't think of it like that, I just thought he didn't like me, and that's why he was being that way. So that's kind of how I was, and come to find out, yeah, he had a thing for me. And like I've said in some of my things, he at one point told me at one point he was like, I was like, we can stop writing. And he was like, no, I want to keep writing you. And because I had asked him if he wanted to date me, and he said no. And so I accepted that with humility, humbleness, and everything. And I just lived my life, I thought he just was that way. And there was one moment we had that was kind of special to me. It's the only moment that really, there was a lot of little moments, I guess, so I shouldn't say it was the only moment. Because when you get close to somebody, you always have those little moments that connect you more and more. And that's what makes you never leave. And there was one moment where I really wanted to make the move, but I was just too scared. And it was just that moment, that pivotal moment where I was like, I could do this. I can be brave, and see if he really likes me back or if there's nothing there. But I didn't want to ruin our friendship just like he did. So I didn't take the plunge. And it was like perfect timing too. We even arm wrestled. And he let me beat him. Because I know he did, because I was a wuss back then. And that should have been my sign that he kind of had a thing for me. But I was too dense. I was so stupid. I really was. I was not smart. If a guy did not tell me to my face that he had a thing for me, I thought he didn't have a thing for me. That's kind of how it was. There's this other guy, though, that was at my work who would always smile at me. And I was like, okay. And I kind of had a crush on him, too, and the whole time. And he had a girlfriend, I realized at one point. So I was like, darn. Because, I figured if I can't have one guy, then maybe I can have fun with this other one. But at least it was kind of fun to go to work and have him there. And somehow when you're in a room with somebody that you have an attraction for, the time always goes by quick. So it's like when you're happy, and you're in love or something, everything just moves so fast, you know? And that was what I would do. Whenever I wanted time to go by fast, I would daydream about whoever I had a crush on. And time just went. I kid you not, it did. And so you try that. Yeah, you try it. Like, think of somebody you have a crush on, because everybody has crushes, you know? Even if it's celebrity crush. Just think of that person. And pretty soon, like, especially if you're a kid in school still, that bell will ring and you'll be like, what the? But when they're not there, you're like, when is this freaking time gonna stop? I mean, when is time gonna go by? That was always annoying to me. But yeah, because when he was sick or something, or he was gone, it was so boring. School was just not the same. I think he felt the same about me, but he just never said. But anyways, yeah, that was our beginning years. We were in that puppy love. He'd tease me every 2 seconds. Yeah, he would tease me. He would make fun of me. He would always focus something on me. And I just thought it was just odd. It was just like that. I mean, I didn't think that meant anything positive. I didn't think it meant that he had a crush on me or anything, because guys shouldn't be that way when they have a crush on a female. They should be like, you know, trying to woo her and charm her and come up to her and, you know, say, hey baby, want to go on a date? You know, something like that. It shouldn't be like pulling her hair or, you know, writing on her neck, and God knows what he actually wrote. Probably the property of him. That's probably what he was saying. But yeah, he would do things like that, or just look at me and stare at me, and he'd be like, and it drove me crazy. Yeah, that's kind of stuff that probably drew me more to him. Sadly, I was that girl. I fell for odd stuff. Like, I really did. Like, his odd mannerisms actually kind of turned me on. And just the way that he'd be, the way that he knew exactly what I was thinking when I would look at him, like, he'd say something or some other stuff, and he'd be like all of a sudden we both have that connection, and I just know what he was saying, you know, and somehow, I don't know how, but that's kind of what our closeness was at one point. And it was really a good moment, you know. It was my best years and my worst years, because I would cry whenever he would act like he didn't know me, or he would flirt with another woman, well, girl, because we were kids, or he would rub on somebody else's back, or, you know, yeah, that made me jealous. Like, I was a jealous type. I think I am at times, you know. I just, like, even though the person's not yours, you're just like, how could he do that right in front of me, knowing that I have a crush on him? Because I knew he knew that I had a crush on him. I made it so freaking obvious. Everybody in the whole place knew that I had a crush on him. Like, literally everybody probably in the whole high school knew I had a crush on him. So I know he knew. Like, it's so obvious. Then he'd do that right in front of me. And so you know what I'd do? I'd go and talk to some guy. Because I knew. It got under his skin. Because you know why? Then he'd pay attention to me again. That's how you know somebody has a thing for you. Is if you all of a sudden pay attention to especially someone of the opposite sex, and that person gets upset, then they have, like, feelings for you. Real ones. Real feelings. And that should have been my sign too, because when we were in college together, later on, after high school, of course, because we graduated together, he got so annoyed when I had mail sent over there, by this weirdo guy. I didn't even really want him writing me like that, but he did. But I think it made him upset that I was getting like letters like that from some guy. He didn't also like when this other guy gave me a drawing. It was like a little picture he drew for me at this little event we went to together, because he actually was willing to be seen with me in public in a romantic light. But I was so nervous I didn't even talk to him like much. You know that feeling when you get when you can't even like talk, and normally you'd be this chatty type, but like when he's there, you're like, oh my gosh, and you're so like awestruck that you can't even, the words don't even form. No, I'm just doing this video, please, and we can go. Been on for a while. Only 20 minutes, but yeah, yeah. Anyways, I was back to the story. Where like, what was I saying? Gosh, so annoying. Oh yeah, the words just don't form because you're so like not wanting to fuck up. So you just like be quiet. And this was the type of guy though that wanted his woman to talk. And I was like, I would turn beet red. Like I was so shy and embarrassed. Like, but he was a crush, and I was like, I liked him, but I don't think we clashed. Because he was too serious, I think. And oddly, I like goofballs. I don't like serious, like way too serious sometimes. But if they can be serious and silly sometimes, then yeah, I'll clash with them. But I mean, I'll be okay with them. But this guy is like, wait, I felt his like aura and vibe, and he's so serious about things. And I was like, I don't even know what attracted me to him at first. I guess his looks mainly. He reminded me of Elijah Wood. He really looked like Elijah Wood too. It's like, man, shit. And then he was actually interested in me, and I was like, oh my freaking gosh. Some, hot guys interest. Whenever any like attractive guy it finds me attractive, I'm like, how? I never really have ever saw me as anything great, as my self-esteem issues. So especially then, I did not think I was a very good catch. So I was like, what is he seeing me? I didn't know. Yeah, I was like young and wet behind the ears, so I was really young looking. So, but yeah, yes, I don't know even why I'm rambling about the oddest things, but yeah, those are moments that we got close for what happened. Which I guess I already kind of told you about how everything's happened, but I never really on this channel told you about how it led up to it. And of course, we all know probably is because I got married. Because the time that I got married was the exact time he started being rude. And actually, when I got engaged and I found an email, he wrote as me to this other weirdo. Oh, no, not to the weirdo, to my other boyfriend at the time. Well, actually, it wasn't at that time. It was ex-boyfriend. We had stopped dating, and I was with Isaac already, of course. I was getting engaged to Isaac, and basically he wrote telling that person off as me. Like, I don't write like that. I didn't ever write like that rude, and I know I would never have. And the fact that I rewrote at the same time, as I found my other email that I wrote saying this wasn't me at that same time, I was like, oh, okay, this other person made an account, made an email with my name on it, pretending to be me, to my ex-boyfriend, telling him don't ever contact me again, and I'm engaged and I'm married. So he knew I was married, or I was getting engaged. And he got engaged like the month right before us. So it's like, I guess he part of him wanted to be married right around the same time I was. I don't know why. But yeah, he still, I'm pretty sure he's on my stuff still. And, whatever, if he wants to watch my life for the rest of his life, then fine. But, I would like to be an adult and actually deal with it. He only had the PPO on for like one term, which is like 6 months or something. So I had a PPO in place, which is a personal protection order. I couldn't talk to him or contact him in any way, shape, or form. Which I was like, fine, but he can't do it to me either. So neither of us could talk to each other. So that was kind of good and bad in a way. I didn't like that I couldn't even talk about him or my stuff. That was kind of messed up. And the police started wigging out on me and Isaac more after that time, because I think he was having them keep an eye on us. Is one time the police officer got out on my side, mine, came over on my side, not Isaac's. Isaac's the driver. I don't even have a license. But he was like wanting me to open my door, my window, roll down my window and talk to me. Like, I was looking at him like, I probably had this odd, like, this face. Probably. Like, I was like, okay, officer, may I help you? And he's like, yeah, I'd like your license. You're, like, acting really odd. Or actually, he asked me to see my ID and Isaac's license, which I don't know why he didn't just go for Isaac first and ask for license. He's the driver. But yeah, I was like, well, I don't have my ID. And he was like, so Isaac gave him all this stuff, and he's like, well, you're kind of acting odd, like, have this odd look in your face and acting squirrely, like, odd and stuff. I was like, yeah, because you're coming on my side, and I'm just the passenger. And you haven't even told us what we're being pulled over for. Come to find out, it was just our tail light in the back. But he came to me on my side. And I know he saw me glance over once. Like, I did that quick little, like, sometimes you're just looking around and you just see something and you're like, oh. And you just, you don't really, it wasn't like one of those prolonged stares. It was just like a quick glance. Like, and I didn't even have any odd look. When I did that, I was just like looking around. And it was like, it must have caught his eye enough. He saw who I was. And I might have also wanted to see my picture. Because I've had a taxi truck guy do that to me before. Wanted my ID instead of Isaac's because he was going to keep it. So he had proof for us to pay the rest of the money. And he was like, no, I'll take your wife's. And Isaac's like, no, we were dating. And yeah, we were married. He was like, I'll take your wife's. Isaac's like, no, you'll take mine. And I was like, oh my gosh, what he wanted to do with my ID. That's really disgusting and disturbing all in the same time. But yeah, this has been like my life, and he's still doing things. That's why I had to get a whole nother cell phone. The other one was screwed really bad. It had a definite virus on it. It would like freeze all the time, which might also be that because this sometimes does it, but not as bad. And it would have pop-ups come all the time. It's opened and closed itself before. I've had sound come on by itself. And that's kind of weird when you have the sound in the background and you're like, how'd this get on? It's like weird when it happens, but yeah. That's why I think he hacked the cell, and that's how we got Isaac's VA information. They listened to us on the phone. And, we don't have proof, so, and don't have the money to pay a stupid attorney $10,000. I'm not like another guy in my life story who raped me. I'm not like him having $5,000 in a duffel bag just so I can go rape somebody and have an attorney to buy it off. You know what I'm saying? That's ludicrousy. And I would never do that. That's just dumb that the justice system is that fucked up. But that's a whole nother can of worms. And I was mainly talking about my stalker. which, there's multiple people I know in my life that could technically be stalking me, so it's probably not just him. Now, my adoptive family probably is, and maybe even my biological. I don't know. When you kick people out of your life, prepare for them to stalk you, because they will. They will stalk your entire life. Especially if they have something that they've done or only you all know about and other people don't, and they want to keep it hidden. It's just the way people are. Or they're just curious about what you're up to, and because they have no other way to get in touch with you, they'd rather just stalk your social media. But when I get big time, I'll expect it. I'm a nobody peon, and I've already been stalked by multiple people, and raped however many times I've lost count. So I can only imagine what waits for me in New York and Hollywood. It's gonna be a crazy adventure. But my manager Jolie, she's still working on my stuff. She said she's gonna have the headshots hopefully. I don't know. She didn't give me another time, so she just said that she'll get in touch with me when they're done. So hopefully sometime this week. Because she didn't get them done yet, or else I would have shared them already. Because today's technically 2 weeks for that one woman to edit them. So they're probably going to be immaculate. I'm so excited to get those though. But, because then that means I'm going to be at my next step. Then we're going to do our place. We're going to clean it. We're going to get it all emptied out. We won't have anything left here for us to keep us here, and we're gonna go off. So that's our journey. That's the next journey of this year. So 2019 for me is big change, and it said that in my little, you get those little fortunes and stuff. It said prepare for big changes in your career, and mine's right on the dot, right on the button. And I'm so happy. Like, that's really been my motivation lately to keep going forward, because I think that's all we can do. And yeah, I'll always be stalked. Yeah, he'll probably keep trying to get into this cell phone, because why not? He doesn't even know my phone number. I'm not putting it on any of my social media sites. Hell no. Am I stupid? Hell no. I did that too many times. And I put it in all my things thinking, public, everybody does that. But I have to remember, I'm not everybody. I'm me, and I'm just a beaconing for stupidity. So I just have to watch what I do. A little bit more than average people do. I have my Stalkers Anonymous page still, and, so I'm hopeful that I'm inspiring other people and bringing about change, That's the best we can do. If something happens to us, we share our story and help others share theirs. Have a platform to speak out and against whatever happens to them. Because there's not much the law will do to help you. I realized that unless you got a buttload of money and you can get a lot of documentation and legal paperwork, and even then some judges won't even look at it. If they're discriminatory, they won't even look at it. So you just can document and say why you're doing this or that. I'll say that I had to change my cell phone because it was tapped, and the other one has been really badly infected, and I just needed a fresh start. And I'm not giving my phone number out to anybody. I'm not opening links. I keep this cell phone I'm keeping safe because I have to use it for my work. And I have to be able to talk to Jolie via webcam. And, I have to be able to do things for work related. I don't want to be hacked again. I'm really getting sick of that, He always hacks my emails, though. That's the problem. He knows how to hack so well. And when you have a stalker that's professional at hacking and all that and is obsessed over you, and won't let you go, that's when all hell breaks loose and you're screwed. Because the person will literally have whatever they want, especially if they get the police to back them up. Then you're stuck in a city where you moved there first, not him. You moved there, and now you're the one the police are investigating and always attacking. Yeah, that's what happened. We lived here for a year before they moved. After they moved, like within a certain amount of time, they gave us the PPO. So, it's kind of messed up, but it's true. You could technically live somewhere, and if somebody doesn't really want you to be in their area, they could move there, like, right next door and put a PPO on. If they have a PPO on you, and it's legal and everything, you can't even live there. You have to move. But you'd be stupid to give up a home to come live in a motel in a room like us. But I wouldn't put it past him to try it, or to just move there. I think he has people over there watching us all the time. It's so weird. But I do believe some of them are, like, there for him. They're always watching us. I know people think I'm paranoid, but you haven't been through what we've been through. And if you had, trust you me, you wouldn't say that. You'd be vigilant too, because too many weird things have been happening the last couple of years since he put the personal protection order in effect on us. So he got, like, that power boost, and he attacked our accounts, multiple accounts, took money, tried to wire my husband's VA money over to him, and that was a whole investigation. It took a couple months to resolve, and we finally got our money back, but it was really tight and really hard on us. And we're just now getting back to being somewhat okay, and I just, if anybody has that happen, I know how you're feeling. And nobody believes you, but you know what happened. He even was this kid in a mental place in me. Yeah, I don't have 100% proof, but I know. And his wife kind of validated to me. She rarely would write me on text, but when I talked about him being there, she all of a sudden asked me and wanted to know everything I knew, and if I had any proof. So that's kind of weird that somebody that always just tells you to leave them alone, all of a sudden wants to talk to you. That right there told me it was him. And I had that feeling inside me, but I didn't say anything because I didn't want to make it weirder. And then he and my husband went at it. So if that was him, because the kid was supposed to be some, like, high school kid just barely getting out of high school. Like, he'd have the thing for some 30-year-old. That's not possible. And plus, he acted way too close connected to me, so he kind of fucked up there. Like, one time I saw him laying on the ground next to my room, me and my roommate's room, and I was like, but yeah, it's like little things like that, or him wanting me personally to stay and hang out after hours with the rest of the group. Like, it was just little things, subtle things that he said or did that reminded me of Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm sorry, Leo, I'm tarnishing your name. I'm so freaking sorry. I love you. If you watch this, and everybody else, like, comment, and subscribe if you think my life's a wacky whole mess. Or for all you weirdos that hate me because of what I said about certain somebody, that her last name ends in woof, yeah, you can down again. I could give a rat's ass. Is I'm not gonna I'm not gonna renege what I say. If I say something and it feels important to me at the time, best believe I'll keep it up. Because it has to be kept up to speak out for the truth. So, I speak the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Trust you me. But I hope that you're all having a wonderful night and staying lovely and getting your favorite little outfit that you love. Oh, for Halloween, I'm thinking of being what was it that I was wanting to be? I'll put it in the comments if I can remember. There's somebody I really wanted to try to be. It's like really exciting. Now I forgot, now I probably won't remember. Well, one thing was Pocahontas, but this other thing even trumped that, because I was like, yeah, that's perfect. And Belle, of course. What was it? It was like a really sexy character. I'll have to remember and link it below. And I hope that you have sweetest dreams ever in all the world. And remember that you're loved. And yes, even you, Leonardo DiCaprio, weirdo, love you.